Welcome to session number 4 of electrostatics. Dear students, we learned what is charge, what are the different effects of charge, types of charge, then electric intensity, then electric dipole. So what is the expression for electric intensity due to electric dipole? We learned all those things. In this session, we shall take up the torque on an electric dipole in a uniform electric field. Therefore, consider a uniform electric field. Uniform electric field is represented by parallel lines. The field is like this. This means there is some positive charge, there is some negative charge, therefore the lines of force are directed from left side to right side. If I place an electric dipole in this uniform electric field, the dipole consists of two equal and opposite charges plus q and minus q separated by a distance. Let this be the center of the dipole. The dipole moment is directed from negative charge to positive charge. Then electric field is like this. Theta be the angle between the dipole and the electric field. As a result, what happens? What happens? There is some negative charge. There is some positive charge. Due to these charges, there is electric field. As a result, this pushes, this pulls, unlike charges attracts. A force of F is equal to QE acts on the positive charge in this direction along the electric field. Similarly, on negative charge, a force of QE acts in the opposite direction. As a result, what may happen? Because of these two equal and opposite forces, the dipole may rotate. If it is free, it will rotate. The rotating effect of force is called torque. Please observe. If this is the dipole, this is positive and negative end. If a force acts like this, the dipole may rotate and get aligned along the direction of electric field. Now, in this session, we shall derive an expression for the torque acting on this dipole. We know that torque is given by force and the perpendicular distance between the forces. Therefore, construct the right angle triangle. This is 90 degree. This is A. This is B. This is C. BC is the perpendicular distance between the forces. So, in first PUC we learned torque is given by force into perpendicular distance between the forces. Therefore, the torque on the electric dipole is given by force is QE. Perpendicular distance is nothing but BC. From the right angle triangle ABC, if this is theta, this is also theta. These two are corresponding angles. We want BC. Therefore, sin theta equals opposite side divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is nothing but 2a, the distance between the two charges. Therefore, BC equals 2a sin theta. If I substitute for BC here, torque is given by QE into 2a sin theta. Okay? Therefore, if I rearrange the terms, I can write Q into 2a into E into sin theta. So q into charge into distance between the charges can be written as dipole moment. Already we know that. Therefore, torque on the electric dipole is given by Pe sin theta. This is the expression for the torque acting on an electric dipole placed in the uniform electric field. In vector form, what we can write? This torque is the cross product of, this is P sin theta, P cross E. In vector form, we can write like this. So, look at the figure. This is P cross E means like this, P cross E. As a result, these lines, the dipole will rotate in the clockwise direction. This is torque. The direction of the torque is given by P cross E. Okay? Now, when theta equals 0 degree, sin 0 is 0. Therefore, torque is 0. No torque acts. Torque is minimum. When theta equals 90 degree, sin 90 degree equals 1. Therefore, torque is Pe, sin 90 is 1. The torque is maximum. Okay? Now, when theta equals 180 degree, the dipole is like this. Theta is 0 degree. Theta is 0 degree. No torque acts when the force is like this. When the theta is 90 degree, the torque is maximum. When theta is 180 degree, it is like this. Okay? The force on this charge will be towards this. The force on this charge will be towards this. Positive charge will be in this end. Negative charge will be in this end. As a result, the forces will act like this. The dipole will rotate like this. That is why theta equals 0 degree position is called stable equilibrium. Theta equals 180 degree is called unstable equilibrium. When theta equals 180 degree, this is minus 1, torque is minus Pe. This position is called unstable equilibrium position. This is stable equilibrium position, because at stable equilibrium, these two forces are equal and opposite. Net torque is 0. Okay? So I hope you have understood about torque. When torque is maximum, when torque is minimum, and all those things. Next, to distribution of charges. Distribution of charges. See the heading? The heading itself signifies how charges are distributed in materials. Already we know that the materials are classified into conductors and insulators. Okay? So the conductors have free electrons. The insulators didn't have free electrons. When charges are given to conductor, when one charge is given, it may stay anywhere. When two charges are given, they will distribute like this. When three charges are given, they will arrange in equilateral triangle, equilibrium position. When four charges are given, when six charges are given, they will distribute to the entire surface. There is surface distribution of charge in the case of conductors. In the case of insulators, there is volume distribution of charges. That means when charges are given here, they will stay where they are given in the case of insulators. That is why we didn't receive any electric shock when a wire is touched by an insulator. We will receive electric shock because there is surface distribution of charge. Okay? If we have a wire like this, when charges are given, the charge will distribute to the entire wire like this. The charge per unit length is called linear charge density. The charge per unit length is called linear charge density. It is denoted by lambda. Okay, for our sake, simplicity, we are defining these physical quantities. In future, we will come to know much about all these things. The unit of linear charge density is coulomb per meter. Okay. Similarly, if we give a charge to a plain sheet, conducting sheet, the charge will be distributed to the entire surface. Okay? Yes. The charge, the amount of charge per unit area is called surface charge density. Dense means compactness. How charges are arranged. That is, to measure all these things, we are introducing these quantities. Surface charge density. The charge per unit area, this is denoted by sigma. The unit of surface charge density is coulomb per meter square. Similarly, in a certain volume, if we give certain amount of charge, the charge will distribute it to the entire volume in an insulator. That charge per unit volume is called volume charge density. This is denoted by this Greek symbol. The unit is charge per coulomb per meter cube. Okay? So we know that how charges are distributed when charges are given to a wire. To measure this, we introduce the concept of linear charge density. Is defined as charge per unit length. In a plane, to measure surface charge density, charge per unit area is called surface charge density. In a volume, so to measure the compactness of charge, we introduce the concept of volume charge density. Charge per unit volume is called volume charge density. In the case of insulators only, you can find this. In the case of conductors, you will find linear charge density or surface charge density. So using these things, so in future we are going to derive some of the expressions with surface charge density, with linear charge density and surface charge density. This is about how charges are distributed in conductors and in insulators. Okay. Next we shall move on to electric field lines. The lines, few lines drawn in electric field. Electric field lines. Okay. Let us consider a charge, a certain charge placed at certain point. This charge produces electric field in its surrounding. It produces certain electric field. It has electric field in its surrounding, similar to a mass produces gravitational field. Now, how to represent electric field, how to communicate the presence of electric field is a difficulty to say. So to communicate, The first person who thought about field lines is Michael Faraday. Faraday introduced the concept of electric field lines. What he did, if I place another unit positive charge in this electric field, that means unit positive charge plus 1 coulomb charge is called unit positive charge. So what happens between these two charges? They are like charges. As a result, they repel each other. This is the fixed charge. If it is free, what happens? Because of the repulsive force, this charge will start to move in this direction. Okay? The imaginary direction along which a free unit positive charge moves in an electric field is called electric field line. Okay? The representation of the movement of this charge in an electric field is electric field line. If I place the positive charge here, it will start moving like this. This is the field line there. This is the field line here. 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 Like this, this charge gives rise to electric field lines. Electric field lines represents the presence of electric field around a charge. Okay? Now, the electric field lines are like this. Positive charge gives rise to the outward electric field lines. Similarly, negative charge, if this is negative charge, if I place the positive charge, it will attract, the field lines will be directed inwards. Okay? Yes. Similarly, in the case of negative charge, field lines are directed towards the charge. In the case of positive charge, they are directed away from the charge. If there is both positive and negative charge, think over. If I leave a positive charge, here this will push, that will pull. As a result, this charge will move like this. This is the field line. If I leave here, this pushes, that pulls. As a result, the field line will be like this. Like this. Okay? Now, the properties of these field lines. What are the properties of these field lines? You observe and say what you feel. That itself is the property. These two figures itself shows that the field lines are directed away from the positive charge. The field lines are directed towards the negative charge. No two field lines intersect each other. No two field lines intersect each other. Why? Because a charge cannot move in two directions simultaneously. That is why no two field lines can intersect each other. Then no field line, you see, observe here, they didn't form closed path like this. Electric field lines cannot be like this. In future, magnetic field lines can form closed path, but electric field lines cannot form closed path. Okay? Yes. Now, we shall move on to the concept of flux. Electric flux. After the electric field, we shall understand the concept of electric flux. Flux. So, already in first PUC, we have understood the concept of flux. Luminous flux, water flux. Okay? So, now electric flux means the amount of, the number of electric field lines passing through an area. Yes. The amount of water passing through an area is called water flux. The amount of light energy flowing through an area is called luminous flux. The amount of electric field lines passing through an area, understand this very clearly, it is very, very important. Now, there is a charge, it is giving electric field lines in all directions. Now, if I consider an area, some area ds, this is the area. If I held this area like this, more flux pass through this. If I orient this area in different directions, the amount of flux passing through this area decreases. Now if I held parallel to this field lines like this, whatever the field lines comes to this side will go like this side will go like this, no flux will pass through this. The flux through this area is 0, the flux through this area increases, becomes maximum. Think properly. Therefore, the flux through an area depends on electric intensity, one factor. Second one, area. The area consider. The third one, orientation of the area. How the area is oriented to this field, that is measured by cos theta. Therefore, the electric flux through an area is given by E ds cos theta. Okay? E ds cos theta can be written as d pi equals E dot ds. The area is considered as vector. So, electric flux can also be expressed as the dot product of E dot ds. Therefore, as it is the dot product, the flux is a scalar. A torque is a vector, it is the cross product. The cross product of two vectors is a vector. The dot product of two vectors is a scalar. In first PUC we learned these things. The unit of electric flux is E. E means force per unit charge, Newton per coulomb. ds means area. This is the unit of electric flux, Newton meter square per coulomb. Okay? Now, when theta is 0 degree, cos 0 is 1. Okay? Now, the flux is EDS. The flux is maximum. Okay? Now, flux is maximum in this position. Therefore, theta is the angle between the electric field and normal to the area. Theta is 0 degree in this position. Therefore, theta means what? Theta is the angle between E, electric field, and normal to ds. Normal to ds. If the area is like this is the area, normal will be like this. Normal is this. Okay? Electric field is also like that, normal is also like that. That is why theta is 0 degree. When theta is 0 degree, flux is maximum. When theta is 90 degree, cos 90 degree equals 0, flux is 0. Now theta is 90 degree means it is like this. Normal is like this, electric intensity is like this, the angle between them is 90 degree, flux is 0. When theta equals 180 degree, what happens? Cos 180 degree is minus 1, the flux is negative, minus E ds. Okay? Now, so this is taken as outward flux. This is taken as inward flux. Negative flux means the flux is directed inwards. Okay? Outward flux means the flux is directed away from the area. So if you understand the concept of flux very clearly, in the next session we shall introduce Gauss law. I hope so you have understood the meaning of electric flux. The word flux is similar. Water flux, luminous flux, electric flux, magnetic flux. The concept is same. The area, the place where we are thinking is different. Understand? The amount of lines of force, the number of lines of force passing through the area. This is the area. Therefore, it depends on this source charge. Then the area, if I consider more area, I will get more flux. Third, orientation of the area. How the area is oriented to the electric field is very important. Therefore, understand the concept of flux very clearly. When theta is 0 degree, flux is maximum. When theta is 90 degree, flux is 0. So, if you know these things very clearly, in the next session, we shall think about another law called Gauss law, which deals about electric flux. Thank you.